Welcome back. In Part 3, we built our first multi-agent coordinator. Let's lock in those key patterns before we go deeper. Hub-and-spoke architecture. The coordinator sits at the center, and specialist subagents live at the spokes. Each one owns a single skill. Isolated context. Each subagent starts completely blank. It has zero memory of the coordinator's conversation. You must pass everything it needs. The coordinator has exactly 5 jobs: decompose, delegate, aggregate, evaluate, and respond. That order matters, and the exam tests it. Parallel means essentio.gather. Sequential means an await chain. You choose based on data dependencies, not preference. Dynamic routing beats a full pipeline every time. Only invoke agents that are actually needed. Don't spin up everyone on every request. Today we go hands-on with the SDK, how subagents are actually configured and spawned in code. 4 topics: the task tool, agent definition, context passing, and execution patterns. When working with subagents, you have 2 levels to understand: the raw API and the Claude Agent SDK. Let's see how they relate. The raw API is direct HTTP calls to the /messages endpoint. You're talking to Claude, but you manage every loop, every retry, every context window yourself. The Claude Agent SDK is a Python framework built on top of that raw API. It gives you structured building blocks, agents, tools, sessions, instead of raw messages. Think of the SDK as a framework. It enforces structure for agent loops, tool handling, and subagent spawning. You don't reinvent the wheel. Here's the key distinction the exam loves. An API is a library. You call it whenever you want. A framework calls your code. It's in control of the loop. The SDK is a framework. So how do subagents actually get created in the SDK? The answer is one special tool called Task. Let's break it down. Task is a special built-in tool in the Claude Agent SDK. When the coordinator calls it, the SDK creates a brand new agent instance on the spot. To use Task, the coordinator's allowed_tools list must include the string task. This is the single most tested gotcha in the entire subagent section. Don't forget it. Each task invocation creates an isolated subagent with its own fresh context. It sees nothing from the coordinator except what you explicitly pass in. The task description you write becomes the subagent's very first user message. That's its only starting point, so make it count. When the subagent finishes, its result flows back to the coordinator as a tool_result in the messages array, exactly like any other tool response. Before you can spawn a subagent, you define it with AgentDefinition. It has exactly 5 fields, and the exam tests all. First, name. This is the identifier for the agent, something like research_agent or summarizer. Keep it descriptive. Second, description. This tells the coordinator what the agent does. The coordinator reads this when deciding which agent to route a task to. Third, system_prompt. These are the specialization instructions, the agent's role, personality, and behavioral constraints. This is what makes it a specialist. Fourth, tools, the list of tool definitions the agent can use. These are JSON schemas describing available functions, just like in the raw API. Fifth, allowed_tools, which tools the agent is actually permitted to call at runtime. This must be a subset of tools. This is where you enforce the minimum tools principle. Here's a principle straight from the exam: minimum tools per agent. On the left, the wrong approach. Every agent gets every available tool. On the right approach. Each agent gets only the specific tools it needs for its job. Why does this matter? Security. Fewer tools means a smaller attack surface. Reliability. The agent can't accidentally call the wrong tool. And cost. And used tool descriptions still consume tokens in every request. Design every agent with the minimum set it actually needs. Nothing more. Context passing is the coordinator's most critical job and the most common source of bugs. Here's why. Every subagent starts blank. It has no memory of the coordinator's conversation, no prior context, no shared state. 0. So the coordinator must construct a task description that includes everything the subagent needs to succeed. This is an active construction job, not a copy-paste. What to pass, relevant facts, constraints the subagent must respect, the exact output format you need, and results from prior subagents if this task depends on them. What not to pass, the entire conversation history. That's lazy and expensive. Be selective. Extract only the signal that's relevant to this specific task. Here's a concrete example of structured metadata in a task prompt. Notice the pattern. A clear goal at the top, a structured JSON block with source, date, and confidence score, the actual data, and an explicit output format at the bottom. 3 things make this work. First, include the source. The subagent needs to know where data came from to assess trust. Second, include a format spec. Don't let the subagent guess what output you need. Third, include constraints. Tell it what it cannot do, not just what it should do. This pattern is testable. Learn it. The SDK supports 2 execution patterns for subagents, sequential and parallel. Choosing correctly is an exam question. Sequential. You await task 1, get the result, then await task 2 using that result. Use this when task 2 needs task 1's output to proceed. Parallel. Essentio.gather runs multiple tasks at the same time. Use this when the tasks are independent. They don't need each other's output to start. The SDK determines the mode purely by how you await. Sequential awaits wait one at a time. A gather await runs them all at once. You control execution mode through your own code. Exam rule. If tasks share no data dependencies, parallel is always the right answer. Choosing sequential when tasks are independent is a correctness error, not just a performance issue. There's a third execution pattern that the exam covers, fork sessions. Here's the idea. A fork spawns multiple subagents from the same baseline context, but each one explores a different direction. Same starting point, diverging paths. Classic use cases: brainstorming multiple approaches to a problem, running A/B tests on different strategies, or investigating multiple hypotheses in parallel. The coordinator collects the results from all forks and synthesizes them into a final decision. Fork is essentially parallel execution with a shared origin and a deliberate divergence. How you write task prompts determines whether subagents succeed or fail. The exam tests a specific philosophy here, goal-oriented design. Always specify the goal, what you want the subagent to produce. And always specify the output format, JSON, bullet list, structured report, whatever you need. Always specify constraints, what the subagent must not do or access. Negative constraints are just as important as positive goals. Don't specify exact tool call sequences. You tell Claude what you want, not how to get there. Claude decides the execution path. That's the whole point of using an agent. Don't over-constrain. Micromanaging an agent's execution defeats the purpose of using one. Give it room to reason. If you need to specify every step, use a script, not an agent. Let's run through the 6 anti-patterns the exam specifically tests. Each one is something developers do wrong in real code. Anti-pattern 1. Forgetting task in the coordinator's allowed_tools. The fix is simple, always include it. But forgetting it means the coordinator can never spawn subagents at all. Anti-pattern 2. Giving all agents all tools. The right move is minimum tools per agent. Every extra tool is a security risk and a token cost. Anti-pattern 3. Dumping the entire conversation history into the task prompt. Extract and pass only what the subagent actually needs. Precision over volume. Anti-pattern 4. Procedural prompts that specify every step. Write goal-oriented prompts instead. Let Claude choose the execution path. Anti-pattern 5. Unstructured data handoffs. Passing raw text blobs between agents with no metadata. Always include source, date, and confidence so downstream agents can reason about trust. Anti-pattern 6. Treating parallel versus sequential as a style choice. It's a correctness decision based on actual data dependencies. Get this wrong, and you break task sequencing. Let's lock in the 8 things you absolutely need to know from Part 4. 1. Task tool creates isolated subagents, and task must be in the coordinator's allowed_tools. 2. Agent definition has 5 fields: name, description, system_prompt, tools, and allowed_tools. 3. Minimum tools principle. Each agent gets only what it needs. 4. Subagents start blank. You must pass all needed context in the task description. 5. Sequential equals a wait chain for dependent tasks. Parallel equals essentio.gather for independent ones. 6. Fork equals multiple subagents from the same baseline exploring different directions. 7. Specify goals and output format. Don't specify tool call sequences. 8. Always include structured metadata, source, date, and confidence in all cross-agent handoffs. In Part 5, we add the safety layer, prerequisite gates, deterministic enforcement, hooks, and the structured handoff patterns that make agentic systems production safe.